join me. Today's day 189 of reading. Today reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's get started. We're on page 354. Yes, indeed, said Lupin. It took them the best part of 3 years to work out how to do it. Your father and Cyrus here were the cleverest students in school, and lucky they weren't, because the Animagus transformation can go horribly wrong. One reason the Ministry keeps a close watch on those attempting to do it. Peter needed all the help he could get from James and Cyrus. Finally, in our 5th year, they managed it. They could each turn into a different animal at will. How did that help you? Said Hermione, sounding puzzled. They couldn't keep me company as humans, so they kept me company as animals, said Lupin. A werewolf is only a danger to people. They sneaked out of the castle every month under James' invisibility cloak. They transformed. Peter, as the smallest, could slip beneath the willows' attacking branches and touch the knot that freezes it. They would then slip down the tunnel and join me. Under their influence, I became less dangerous. My body was still wolfish, but my mind seemed to become less so while I was with them. Hurry up, Remus, snarled Black, who was still watching Scabbers with the horrible sort of hunger on his face. I'm getting there, Cyrus, I'm getting there. Well, highly exciting possibilities were open to us now that we could all transform. Soon we were leaving the Shrieking Shack and roaming the school grounds and the village by night. Cyrus and James transformed into such large animals they were able to keep a werewolf in check. I doubt whether any Hogwarts students ever found out more about the Hogwarts grounds and Hogsmeade than we did. And that's how we came to write the Marauders map and sign it with our nicknames. Cyrus is Padfoot, Peter is Wormtail, James is Prongs. What sort of animal? Harry began, but Hermione cut him off. That was still really dangerous. Running around in the dark with a werewolf? What if you'd given the others the slip and bitten somebody? A thought that still haunts me, said Lupin heavily, and there were near misses, many of them. We laughed about them afterwards. We're young, thoughtless, carried away in our own cleverness. I sometimes feel guilty about betraying Dumbledore's trust, of course. He had admitted me to Hogwarts when no other headmaster would have done so, and he had no idea I was breaking the rules he had set down for my own and others' safety. He never knew I had led 3 fellow students into becoming Animagi illegally, but I always managed to forget my guilty feelings every time we sat down to plan our next month's adventure, and I haven't changed. Lupin's face had hardened, and there was a self-disgust in his voice. All this year I have been battling with myself, wondering whether I should tell Dumbledore that Cyrus was an Animagus, but I didn't do it. Why? Because I was too cowardly. It would have meant admitting that I betrayed his trust while I was at school, admitting that I'd led others along with me, and Dumbledore's trust has meant everything to me. He let me into Hogwarts as a boy, and he gave me a job when I had been shunned all my adult life, unable to find paid work because of what I am. And so I convinced myself that Cyrus was getting into the school using dark arts he learned from Voldemort, and that being an Animagus had nothing to do with it. So, in a way, Snape's been right about me all along. Snape? Said Black harshly, taking his eyes off Scabbers for the first time in minutes and looking up at Lupin. What's Snape got to do with it? He's here, Cyrus, said Lupin heavily. He's teaching here as well. He looked up at Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Professor Snape was at school with us. He fought very hard against my appointment to the Defense Against the Dark Arts job. He has been telling Dumbledore all year that I am not to be trusted. He has his reason. You see, Cyrus played a trick on him which nearly killed him. A trick that involved me. Black made it to risk some noise. It served him right. he sneered, sneaking around, trying to find out what we were up to, hoping he could get us expelled. Severus was very interested in where I went every month, Lupin told Harry, Ron, and Hermione. We were in the same year, and we didn't like each other very much. He especially disliked James. Jealous, I think, of James' talent on the Quidditch field. Anyway, Snape had seen me crossing the grounds with Madame Pomfrey one evening as she led me toward the Whomping Willow to transform. Cyrus thought it would be, amusing to tell Snape all he had to do was prod the knot on the tree trunk with a long stick, and he'd be able to get in after me. Well, of course, Snape tried it. If he'd gotten as far as this house, he'd have met a fully grown werewolf. But your father, who'd heard about what Cyrus had done, went after Snape and pulled him back. At the great risk to his life, Snape glimpsed me, though at the end of the tunnel he was forbidden by Dumbledore to tell anybody. But from that time on he knew what I was. So that's why Snape doesn't like you, said Harry slowly, because he thought you were in on the joke? That's right, sneered a cold voice from the wall behind Lupin. Severus Snape was pulling off the invisibility cloak, his wand pointing directly at Lupin. Chapter 19. The Servant of Lord Voldemort. Hermione screamed. Black leapt to his feet. Harry felt as though he had received a huge electric shock. I found this at the base of the Whomping Willow, said Snape, throwing the cloak aside. Careful to keep this wand pointed directly at Lupin's chest. Very useful, Potter. I thank you. Snape was slightly breathless, but his face was full of suppressed triumph. You are wondering, perhaps, how I knew you were here? He said, his eyes glittering. I have just been to your office, Lupin. You forgot to take your potion tonight, so I took a gobletful along. And very lucky I did. Lucky for me, I mean. Lying on your desk was a certain map. One glance at it told me all I needed to know. I saw you running along this passageway and out of sight. Severus, Lupin began, but Snape overrode him. I've told the headmaster again and again that you're helping your old friend Black into the castle, Lupin, and here's proof. Never even I dreamed you would have the nerves to use this old place as your hideout. Severus, you're making a mistake, said Lupin urgently. You haven't heard everything. I can explain. Cyrus is not here to kill Harry. 2 more for Azkaban tonight, said Snape, his eyes now gleaming fanatically. I shall be interested to see how Dumbledore takes this. He was quite convinced you were harmless. Lupin, a tame werewolf. You fool, said Lupin softly. Is a schoolboy grudge worth putting an innocent man back in Azkaban? Bang! Thin, snake-like cords burst from the end of Snape's wand and twisted themselves around Lupin's mouth, wrists, and ankles. He overbalanced and fell to the floor, unable to move. With a roar of rage, Black started toward Snape, while Snape pointed his wand straight between Black's eyes. Give me a reason, he whispered. Give me a reason to do it, and I swear I will. Black stopped dead. It would have been impossible to say which face showed more hatred. Harry stood there, paralyzed, not knowing what to do or whom to believe. He glanced around at Ron and Hermione. Ron looked just as confused as he did, still fighting to keep hold on the struggling Scabbards. Hermione took an uncertain step toward Snape and said, in a very breathless voice, Professor Snape, it wouldn't hurt to hear what they've got to say, would it? Miss Granger, you're already facing suspension from this school, Snape spat. You, Potter, and Weasley are out of bounds. In the company of a convicted murderer and a werewolf. For once in your life, hold your tongue. But if there was a mistake, keep quiet, you stupid girl, Snape shouted, looking suddenly quite deranged. Don't talk about what you don't understand. A few sparks shot out of the end of his wand, which was still pointed at Black's face. Hermione fell silent. Vengeance is very sweet, Snape breathed at Black.